only on the Grand Strand, but in the world. Been featured in Forbes magazine, the Wall Street Journal, NBC, and many other publications. And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Good morning. Welcome to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. All kind of great stuff this week. All kind of different news going on here in the real estate market. Some big news this week in terms of interest rates. We'll talk about what's happening with that. We'll go over the final market numbers for the month. They finally got tallied up. And we'll have the final numbers for the month. Last week we covered the micro market. We broke down each zip code. We saw some areas were up, some were down. Some up significantly, some down significantly. We'll talk about kind of what's going on, what to look for. And we also had on last week's show, just didn't get a chance to get to it. A pretty big topic, it's an important topic, especially for a lot of our listeners, is solar panels. We'll talk about does that add value to your home or does that hurt your home in terms of home sale? We're getting value for it. And, my opinion may not make some people happy in terms of if they sell solar. Some of my friends do, but we'll talk about some experiences we've had recently and over the years in terms of did it help the homeowner? Did it hurt the homeowner? I've been seeing that a lot more here lately. We'll talk about that. As well. Also, we had something on the last week's show just didn't get a chance to get to was mortgage purchase applications hit the lowest since 1995. And does that mean you sell your house before prices fall? We'll talk about what's going on with that in that scenario. Our investment company also has been pushing very, very, very hard. I just put another 2 properties under contract this week to purchase cash as is, fully convenient. It's a fair price in that. We'll talk about kind of what we're looking for. Looking to buy multiple different types of properties. This past week, bought a condo and a single family. Looking to buy commercial properties as well. Like I said, representing a large fund with millions of dollars in it from different places that are looking just to buy here for some long-term holds, some short-term purchases. Also things like self-storage, commercial space, even land. We've done a couple of land deals here recently where we help people just do an instant offer or instant buyout. It's basically just for full convenience. In some cases, we let people stay there a little bit longer. We just did the one I just bought myself through the fund was a condo in Myrtle Beach. They're buying in Florida. They want to have a cash offer for the purchase in Florida because it's a little bit competitive, and they wanted to be able to push the closing date back out so it aligned perfectly. The fund came in, made a full price cash offer as is. Just fully convenient for them. And so if you know anybody out there that's interested in that, have them reach out to us. It's just a separate arm we have, but it's a lot different than other place. We've closed on 100% of the properties that we make offers on, that we come to an agreement on. And it's just there for a lot of value. We'll talk about just anything, everything to help you in real estate. We have one main goal on this show we've been doing for the past 14 plus years. And that's just to help keep you updated on anything, everything real estate related, both on the Grand Strand, also nationally, to do one thing. And that thing is help you make better decisions for most people, their largest assets. And so if you ever want to go back and watch them, we listen to them. We stream them live on YouTube. Just type in Blake Sloan Radio Show. Also on Facebook under Sloan Realty Group, and also under my personal page. You just want to look up and follow me there. And also we have a podcast you can go listen to and find those as well. But any questions you always have, we're here to serve the community, and we'll just reach out to me. You go to blakesloan.com or sloanrealtygroup.net anytime. Yes, David. And that's the one thing that I just made a promise a long time ago that I mentioned this on the show. I don't want it to sound repetitive, but for some reason, even though I repeat it, I see the same exact problems over and over and over. One example I shared 2 weeks ago, it cost the people $160,000 in terms of picking the wrong agent, the wrong route they went, that they would have been able to put in their pocket. And that's exactly what we're able to calculate and tie that they missed. And so here's the deal. Everyone makes the same mistake over and over and over and over. And so I made a promise to myself to look, if I just get one thing out of the show, it's to help people kind of wake up and see there's a massive difference. And the mistake they make is thinking that all real estate agents are the same. And it could not be any further from the truth. Just like any doctor, any lawyer, right? If you charge the crime you didn't commit, you don't want a part-time attorney who your friend recommended who's tried a few cases. But for some reason, when it comes to picking their largest asset and how to get it sold and picking their agent, they'll spend 15, 20 years building a hard-earned equity and 15 minutes picking an agent. And they don't even have a criteria in how they pick an agent. They just go with how their gut feels or the cheapest one or who their friend recommended. And it's really, really important because what most people don't realize is There's 118 different variables from A to Z in selling your property. If each one's handled correctly, it puts money in your pocket. Anything's handled incorrectly, aka they drop the ball at any point. And that could be really, does your agent answer the telephone when a buyer calls off for sale sign? Do they have a for sale sign? What's the quality of their photos? What's the actual order of the photos online? Does it stand out against everyone else? It's a similar property, right? What's the negotiation strategy? What's the price strategy? How they manage all those variables in the process. And it just comes down to, like, the average agent in our marketplace sells 4 homes per year, which is 1 per quarter. And so if you look at that, that's technically just an amateur who's handling your largest assets. And I don't know about you, like, if I'm getting brain surgery, I want the absolute best brain surgeon on the planet to help, obviously, help me out, do that surgery, who specializes in that type of surgery. Same thing for kids. If your kids want to, your teeth worked on, I want the best dentist, right? Or the best orthodontist. I don't really want some part-time doctor or dentist or orthodontist who just done a few sets of braces the last year. I want the best who's experienced in that, who does them every day. And you should demand that same level of excellence when you're dealing with your largest assets, because here's the deal. It's simply impossible for one single agent to proactively and efficiently manage all 118 different variables on just your listing. Not to mention the 15 or 20 other listings they have that aren't selling, that are sitting there. And so that's a reality I set out years and years ago. I grew up in the business. Mom, dad, aunt, uncle, grandpa, grandma, entire family sold real estate. I was putting signs out at 2 years old with my mom. And every day after school, I'd be in the real estate office and just watch and learn. And I said, man, I'm going to do this one day, and I'm going to be the absolute best at it. And it's one of those things that when I got in the business in 2005, I got licensed in 2001, but got full-time in the business in 2005. I looked, so there's got to be a better way. Like, there's just so much. And I did study business at Coastal Carolina. It's one of those things that I looked and I was like, there's got to be a better way and a better process. And so we sought out and said, hey, look, real estate model is broken. How do we look and see what people did in other businesses, real businesses that get predictable results? And how do we bring that into real estate and manage that? And so I studied like crazy, hired all these coaches, consultants, spent hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars figuring out how to create a business model and a system that's proven and repeatable, that creates maximum leverage for our clients. And it ultimately gives them a competitive advantage. And that's exactly what we did. Like Dave mentioned, I designed this thing called the Guaranteed Sold System. It's the only proven system to sell homes twice as fast and for up to 20% more money than traditional methods. And it works very, very, very well. And what it is, it's backed up by 2 main things: technology and a team of people. And so what we did was we spent tons of money developing software to make sure that we manage every single proactive variable before it needs to be done. And we make sure we assign that to someone on the team who's a specialist. And so, for example, we have a team of outside sales agents who are buyer specialists. We have listing specialists. We have a VIP concierge for buyers, VIP concierge for sellers, full-time videographer, photographer, full-time graphic designer, a listing coordinator, all these things to make sure that the details are handled proactively on your property to give you that small little advantage. And the way you look at it is you stack these small dominoes up, over 118 of them. And what happens is you create a small gap or a small difference from the competition at every single one. What people don't realize, you stack all those 118 different variables up, they're executed with precision, and they're able to create a massive gap. And that's why properties sell faster and for more money. And we actually have that in a system. It's proven, it's trademarked federally. And we're able to make sure that we're able to use that for our clients. I designed it. We license other agents in other parts of the country. But here's the deal, right? You actually deserve the best for your largest assets. Don't just gamble with who your friend recommended or who somebody sold a few homes. And we ask people all the time, hey, look, what's your criteria of picking an agent? They don't have one. And so they got to realize, like, look, I want the absolute best. And most of that comes down to experience. How much money can they actually put up on your behalf in terms of marketing and exposure? And that's something we've been able to nail. We outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint. And our system is our advantage to that. We sell almost 800 homes last year. And so we have so much experience in negotiation, understanding what's happening, what to do, what not to, and all the small nuances that make or break the home sale. And the key part is we handle those ahead of time to make sure that we can get you the absolute best in terms of price protection, the absolute best negotiation. And we're able to make sure that we go through that and get that done for our clients to help give them a competitive advantage. And the different side, guess what? And that's just for home sellers. And so we want to make sure that those variables, and the way to look at it, right? Let's say you have a marathon. Everyone takes off. You have a shotgun start. Everyone just starts running. And what's happening is everyone spreads out. Some finish 2 and 3 hours ahead of everyone else. Some just don't finish at all. And that's the same thing with your home sale. 50% of properties end up not selling for what they're worth, or not selling at all right now, what we're seeing in the marketplace. And for buyers out there, we had a big challenge for them. There's low inventory. So they're getting outbid some things. They're not able to get represented, and cost them more money when you're dealing with high ticket items with long sales cycles. We designed this system for buyers called the Unfair Advantage Home Buying System. Get you priority access to foreclosures, distressed sales, desperate sellers, the absolute best negotiation and purchase price, as well as home inspection to get you that closing table successfully. And so the reason I say that is to show you something tangible. And the bottom line is the agent you choose matters. They're what sets you up for success or failure. And so if you want to know more how that works, reach out, call us, right? Be an advocate and say, look, if you have a friend or relative that's thinking about selling, say, look, you got to call my buddy Blake. He has this system. It's proven repeatable, and it's going to get you the most amount of money for your home and help you sell it faster based on it. Anybody we sit down with, we show it to them, and it absolutely blows their minds. If you want to know more, reach out, call me, 843-808-SOLD or BlakeSloan.com. We'll take a quick break right back here in a second.
If you're in the market to buy or sell a home right now, every detail means dollars, and who you hired to negotiate your home, that really matters. Hey, Sean Hannon here, and as an active investor who invests in real estate all across the great country,
I'm sorry, this is the last spot. From last year. Sorry about that.
That's all right. That's all right.
Sloan, the Sloan Realty Group, they can help you navigate through multiple cash offers, and more importantly, he has turned complicated situations into 5-star reviews. Now check out his rave reviews on Google. Talk to him yourself. If you are on trial with big money at stake, you would want a seasoned negotiator with thousands of victories. If they will take you on and you can afford them, right? Well, your home deserves the best representation. Know your options. See how much demand your home can command in this market right now and get the best representation that you deserve. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD, 808-SOLD, or online at BlakeSloan.com. That's BlakeSloan.com.
Hi, I'm Barbara Corbett. I'm excited to connect with Blake Sloan, only real estate agent in Myrtle Beach Realtors. We offer several options to home sales, which really takes away the stress.
That's right. For sellers that time crunch, you can agree to sell it on a certain date, the day after the home is even ready.
That's great. And if the seller has a bit more time,
Use our proven marketing plan and sell for the highest price.
work with my friend Blake Sloan and get your home sold on your terms.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Market update, all kind of stuff going on the market right now. And some big news, the biggest news, I'll kind of just jump ahead, is interest rates. They've been climbing up. Just hit a 23-year high this past week. And so that's not great news, right? And so what's happened, you can watch the sales slow down as rates have gotten higher. But we'll continue to see what happens, right? You can break down exactly what happened. There was a Fed meeting. They didn't raise rates. They talked about how they potentially may raise them in the future. And they're not going to be lowering. And so that affected the bond market, which affected interest rates for houses. And so long story short, rates jumped up, even though the Fed didn't raise the rate. But a lot of times they're just ahead of what the curve is in terms of what's happening. And so it was also allowing some economic data came out this past week. But long story short, rates jumped up right now, 30-year fixed 7.47%. If you look just last week's show at 7.24, the week before that, 7.07. And so it's ironic. We watch real time. You can watch sales slow down in that. And thankfully, price hasn't really been affected too much yet. But there's two types of numbers we talk about all the time. We have the close numbers, which is what everyone kind of uses. Those are what I call the rear view mirror numbers. They closed last month. They do it month by month by month. But the problem is, if they closed last month, they actually went under contract 30 to 60 days prior to that. And so you want to have a real-time pulse. We'll talk about those numbers. We have the final numbers from last month in with all the data in. We have the front windshield numbers, which is like what's happening in real time. How can I tell and predict what's going to happen in the future based on what's happening every single day? We track these in my office every day. We go over the morning huddle on our team every morning. And for example, in the last 7 days in our entire MLS, which is the Grand Strand, anywhere from Southern North Carolina all the way down past Georgetown and inland to like Marion, Dillon, all those areas, 527 properties went under contract in the last 7 days for $189,709,000. So if you compare that to last week's show, this week 527, last week 537, the week before that 556, and the week before that 561. Week before that, 590. And so you can see every single week it's gone down as interest rates have gone up. And it's not that big of a difference. Like I've mentioned in the past, anytime we're close to $200 million going to contract in the 7-day period, we're still doing pretty good. Now, again, we're getting to the shoulder season a little bit, but it's very, very interesting to kind of look at what's happening. But a lot of high-end deals right now in the last 7 days. 14 properties over $1 million went under contract, which is awesome, versus last week only 9 properties over $1 million. In the last 7 days, 79 properties over $500,000 versus 73 properties over $500,000 last week. And so it's just interesting to see, though, but it was really pumping just about 5 weeks ago, 590 at 220 million 556,000. And it's just gone down the past few weeks, which means we may see a slowdown into next month's numbers in terms of what's happening. You may see a little bit of softening of price as rates have continued to get high. We saw a brief period, people started getting a little bit used to 7%, but as they've gone up, 7.47, and if you're looking at second homes, some of them are significantly higher in terms of what they're getting. It does slow it down a little bit, and so we'll kind of watch and see what happens there. The good news is it's still rock and roll. If you're thinking about selling, I would definitely probably do it a little bit earlier than later this year. Just I would time it up with the fall market. It is going to be a little bit more difficult as rates get higher. If rates get higher and you're all along with the winter market as well, when things tend to slow down, we do find that people tend to get that paralysis during the holidays in terms of buying or selling anywhere between near Thanksgiving all the way through the first of the year. A lot of buyers we talk to just say, oh, first of the year. And so what happens is it kind of puts you in that period. And then you're starting January 1st. Well, weather's not quite as good. The photos aren't quite as good. So if you have an investment property or Airbnb or something you're looking at, thinking about selling, if you want to get a little more money for it with a little more demand, I would definitely try to do it this fall season. Photos look great. Weather's still great. Lots of buyers still coming in town. We're seeing right now a lot more high-end buyers are coming in town that we're avoiding the crowds of the summertime. And we're seeing that in terms of numbers. Like I mentioned on last week's show, our team sold 3 properties over $1.6 million just in the last month. And so all different types. So I just did one personally in Southern North Carolina on the water, on the basically the intercoastal waterway, but it's also the inlet there. We did one in Surfside and one in Garden City. All those were investor purchases or second home. So lots of big stuff right now happening. If you look at the overall closed data, the final numbers came out from last month, and they're pretty decent. Obviously, sales down overall. If you look at resale homes, down 18.6%. It was down close to almost 30 when the first data came in. But like I mentioned in the past, a lot of realtors tend to put data in 2 or 3 weeks later. They put their sole listing in. So now we have the final numbers in. Last month, closed sales down 18.6%. If you look at August 2023 versus August 2022, sales price right now, median price is still up, which is great. Median price up 5.7% from the same month last year at $370,000. Average sale price up 12.9%. That was kind of the shocking number looking at where you're seeing sales down almost 20%, but prices are still up 12.9%, which is crazy. And again, that's just due to very, very low inventory. We're still in a super seller's market because a lot of sellers are just locked in. They have very low interest rates. They're holding tight because they don't want to buy something else because they have a very low rate. And so what it is holding inventory down, which is making prices continue to stay positive, aka not decline. But there's no telling what's going to happen here in the future. Months of supply, aka inventory, right now 3.1 months. It's up slightly from where it was, but we're still in a seller's market. Remember, anything less than 6 months of inventory is a seller's market. Right now we're at 3.1 months of inventory. If you go back to July, it was at 2.9. So it bumped up a little bit, but it's still very, very, very low. If you look at the last time we were at 3.1 months was September 2020. And so that's a long time. But if you go back to, just for example, April 2020, there was 4.7 months of inventory. So almost 5 months inventory back then. Now we're significantly lower than that. We went through the COVID process when it's down to near zero. And they're seeing it kind of come back a little bit. As inventory climbs, you'll see prices soften a little bit. As we know, it's always supply and demand based. And we always know that price is always a lagging indicator of that in terms of what's happening. If you're looking at showings per listing right now, they're down 12.7%. So basically, you're seeing less showings this year than you were last year overall. And if you look into the condo market right now, resale condos, they're down 12.1%. If you look at August last year versus August of this year, which is not that bad. It did kind of rebound pretty good. If you look at prices, median price up 11.7%. Huge jump there for condos. I think that's actually a new record right now, $253,650. Average sale price for condos up 10.0% right now at $287,647. So what we've seen is affordability for houses has gone down as prices have gone up. They kind of switched more to condos because the affordability is there. And we've also been selling a lot of land lately too, because I think there's just some affordability there. They're building houses on that as well. Supply for condos is at 3.6 months. It's the highest it's been in a while. Last month was 3.4 months. The last time it was 3.6 months was December 2020. And so that's one of the things where you're still been a very, very long time in that. We're slowly seeing some inventory return. Again, that's what I mentioned. If you're thinking about selling, you want to probably tap out or put it out there in this fall market with less competition. Rates are still fairly decent. We're seeing a lot of money move in from the Northeast still. We're selling properties up there. They're moving down here, paying cash or paying cash plus a little bit of financing which is great news here overall. And so, like I mentioned, the one thing that's driving this is interest rates. So just kind of a quick recap on that. Last week's show interest rates are 7.24. Week before that, 7.07. Right now, 7.47%, a 23-year high we just hit this past week, which is significantly high, right? When you see that happen, some buyers do pump the brakes. 15-year fix right now, 6.75%. A 30-year jumbo loan, 7.4%. A 5-year adjust rate mortgage, 7.15%. A 30-year FHA, 6.9%. And a 30-year VA loan, 6.92%. And so still some good opportunities out there. We have some great lenders. If anybody needs some information, refinancing or getting a purchase, we've been able to kind of search and find the most aggressive lenders who lend the most money for the best rates. And so any questions you have market-wise, if you want a free home evaluation, or if you want an instant cash offer online, we spend a lot of money to have this tool where you can get multiple data sources. It gets you all different prices from all the different websites, and it has a lot more government, aka county data, to get more accurate price info for you. You can also get an instant cash offer. It takes 2 seconds on your cell phone. Just go to blakesloan.com, or you can call us anytime with any questions at 843-808-SOLD. We'll take a quick break, right back in a second with our new hot buyers alert and awesome success stories.
WRNN listeners, Clay Travis here. As investors in real estate, Buck and I both know exactly what to look for to find the agent with the best tools and marketing to get the highest sales price possible for a home.
Totally true, Clay. And here in Myrtle Beach, that agent is our friend Blake Sloan of Sloan Realty Group. If you need to sell a home and buy a new one, ask Blake about his guarantee.
Get this, Blake guarantees to sell your home at a price and deadline you agree to, or he'll buy it himself. And since you know when your current home will sell by and for how much, you can buy your next home without worrying about getting stuck with two mortgages.
There's simply no other agent in the market who has a guarantee that will line up against what Blake Sloan can offer you. So when you are looking to sell and buy, he is your guy. Read nearly 750 five-star reviews by Googling Sloan Realty Group. Give Blake a call today and start packing. That's Sloan Realty Group.
And tune in to Blake's show Saturdays at 9 a.m. and Sundays at 11:30 a.m.
Got about 6 minutes.
Welcome back to the Blake Sloan Real Estate Show. Hot buyers alert. My team and I are working with a ridiculous amount of home buyers looking to buy properties here in the Myrtle Beach Grand Strand area, from $250,000 to $4.3 million. You're thinking about selling, please contact us immediately. 843-808-SOLD. That's 843-808. So one thing we've been doing for a long time, probably 10 plus years on this show, is putting our money where our mouth is, right? Everyone asks that question, what makes you different than anyone else? And the main thing is that we create a business model that allows me to outspend the average agent 100 to 1 from a marketing standpoint, to bring buyers in for your property, right? We all know it's supply and demand, but ultimately it comes down to, does somebody push your property to get it sold? They hustle and they bring in buyers to help, obviously, raise the price and get it sold faster. And so we just kind of share real time how many active buyers we have who are using our site, who have a username, password, account, who are actively searching. Right now, 73,618 active home buyers. Again, 73,618 active home buyers. And the first thing we do, obviously, when we take a listing, is we put it in our team. We have a team of 25 plus buyers experts, and their job is to hustle and sell homes to buyers. Obviously, they want to sell our listings because we're in business to make money, right? And so that's what you hired me to do. And so we hustle. We have a software that reverse engineers the most likely buyer for your property based on their previous search pattern, scores them highest to lowest based on 100. We put them in a phone dialer. The agent calls them back to back to back to back, and they say, hey, look, we got a brand new listing. It matches exactly what you're looking for. Do you want to take a look at it? They say absolutely, because exactly what they've been looking for. So if you're thinking about selling, right, don't go with amateur, right? Your largest asset is important. Important things, right, require somebody who's a true professional, right? Last thing you want, some agent who sold 4 homes last year dealing with and gambling with your largest asset. And the fact is, if you look at the economic standpoint, if they sell 4 homes a year, they don't have hardly any money to pay rent with, much less extra to invest on your behalf to get you the exposure you deserve to separate your house from everyone else. And so if you know anybody out there selling, thinking about selling, friend, relative, aunt, uncle, have them call me, have them reach out, 843-808-SOLD. Like right now on those buyers, we have Joe from Columbus, Ohio. I got John from Houston, Texas. I got Melissa from Holden, Massachusetts, Buck from Drexel, PA, Kernersville, North Carolina, Bethel Park, PA, Myrtle Beach, Franklin Park, New Jersey, Mount Clair, New Jersey, Parker, Colorado, Mount Olive, North Carolina, Ontario, Canada, Santa Clara, California. And so just all over, we have these buyers looking to buy here. And that's we want to make you our next success story. Really quick, big shout out to Ashley and Logan. They owned a home here in Myrtle Beach they used to live in, but they moved away, turned it into an Airbnb. After a few years of renting it out, they just got frustrated, tired of maintaining the home from a distance and having to do the Airbnb. They decided to start looking to sell their home. Ashley's mother, it's a cool story, is a realtor in Florida. Want to make sure her daughter and son-in-law were the best hands. She started doing research online to find the best one, came across Sloan Realty Group, saw over 800 plus 5-star reviews on Google, told Ashley and Logan to call us, met with us. We designed a custom plan, launched a gold marketing blitz, professional photos, the virtual reality walkthrough, had a fantastic all cash offer in their home. Now they no longer worry about stress and they put maximum equity in their pocket. I feel kind of close to the peak of the market right now, and they're super happy with that. Also, Bill owned an oceanfront condo in Myrtle Beach, decided it was time to sell. He didn't use it as much as he originally planned to. He did not live here, so we went online, same thing, searched top agents, found us, blown away by all the 5-star reviews, 800, I think 20-something plus right now, just on Google. And we came in, designed a custom plan, launched our gold marketing bits, professional photos, the virtual reality walkthrough, and drove massive traffic to the condo. A couple weeks, had a fantastic all cash, as is offer on the condo. I no longer has to worry about maintaining the condo from a distance and put maximum equity in his pocket. And so if you know anyone out there, let us make them their next success story. I'm seeing so many horror stories right now as the market has slowed down, and the amateur agents before who just use cell phone photos, do everything else, are not having a good time and not having success in doing that, which is super, super important. And so one thing I have here, I think we got like 1 minute left, I think. The question here overall about solar panels. I've gotten that overall in that scenario. Here's the deal. Here's my experience in this is I would run and stay away from them. I know this is one thing that is not going to make some of my friends happy who's probably watching this, is that anytime we've had sellers with solar panels, it's been very, very difficult. Usually, typically, they're being financed. We just had one guy, so sad in a way because it's very difficult. He had $73,000 in solar panels that he bought over the phone from somebody who just called him. I feel maybe took advantage of him because there's no way he's getting that return. And here's the deal. Buyers aren't paying that much of a premium for it. And so what it did was just wiped out a lot of his equity. Now, are there different strategies where it does make sense? Absolutely. But I know literally almost 100% of the time, anytime we've had solar panels on properties we're selling, it's put this seller at a disadvantage because they can't get that equity out of it. It's a loan that's attached on just like a mortgage to their property, a lien, and it wipes out a lot of their equity. And here's the deal. The long-term play on that to get that return is very difficult. And so if you're thinking about selling in the next few years, again, I know in the past there was a lot of opportunity to get some tax breaks that were significant. They've since reduce those a little bit. And the one thing I noticed is like it does take away from equity. It makes it much more difficult to sell. And so if you want to know, hey, look, what should I do? In some cases, what's crazy, the buyers don't like the way they look. We've had a lot of buyers shy away from them based on how they look online and based on how they look face to face. And so if you have any questions that reach out to us, we're happy to give you a value update. But the thing is, you're not getting dollar for dollar. And so here's the one thing I ask. If you have any questions, reach out to us. We want to share great information, help you make better decisions as usual. Anyone you come across, have them give us a call. Say, look, you got to call my buddy Blake. We have the #1 real estate team in Myrtle Beach. I sold more listings than anyone or any team in Myrtle Beach the last 12 months and 2022. So we're here to get you the most amount of money. BlakeSloan.com or 843-808. So we'll see you back here next week at the same time.